Okay, I'm just gonna hop on here and wait for people to come on this live stream talking about single dads today. Last week we did single moms. This week we're gonna do single dads. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, amazing, and a fantastic day. If you are on, make sure you holler at your girl, say hello, join in, speak, let me know you're existing, who you are. Don't tell me who you are, but just say hi, be nice. And I'm going to get started in a few minutes in a few seconds because I don't like to wait. Uh, I like to, people got things to do. And I'm included in that. So I just want to go ahead and start in roughly a few seconds. Please make sure you like this video. Leave the like buttons up. When you come in, please join in and like the video. Don't just, hello there. Please don't just uh, you know, come on and be secret. Make it public, okay? All right, so hey there. I see one person. Make sure you press the like button too. So, today we are talking about single dads. And I guess, you know, sometimes dads get a bad rap. Sometimes um they feel the system is unfair. It's hard. There's more, I guess they say single moms and single dads. So I guess I don't know how to start this live stream, but I was thinking about some of the things that I guess guys feel are their fears of stepping in the role of a father, okay, or a dad when the dad is not there or being present. But before I go into that, I'm going to define a single dad. I guess it's a person who's no longer with the mother, a person who is now co-parenting with the mother that actually gets the child on days that the mother does not. Maybe weekends, maybe a couple of days during the week, or maybe you have joint custody and you get them one week and the mom gets them another week. But as long as you are no longer with the mother, or you maybe the mother, passed away, or you just whatever for whatever reason you're not together and you're raising the child on your time, your custodial time, by yourself, or maybe you're a full-time single dad. And we can get into that a little later. But so now that we got that out the way, I guess I would say that from what I'm hearing and what I know, and the dads that's in my, the single dads that I know, or friends or whatever, family, that, they don't want to really step in as the father in another father's role because they fear that number one, the child will not appreciate them. Um, like later on in life, and probably go off to go find the real father after they put on all the work and have been there. Number two, fear that the child is going to come back to them in an argument, or a tantrum, or whatever the case may be, disagreement, and say, "You're not the father. You're not my dad. I don't have to listen to you." And then you can't sit up there and say, "Well, yeah, if you wouldn't have to listen to me if your real dad was here. He ain't want you." You can't go into that because that's immature, and the mom won't like that. That's frowned upon, and plus that will hurt the child's feelings, and we're not doing that. But that's another thing. You're not my dad, like throw it in your face kind of thing. And nobody wants to feel like that after they, invested love, time, their heart, things like that into a child or children. Also, fear of um that you can't really discipline somebody else's kid. like you want to, because that's not your kid. And they don't probably have as much respect for you if you do try to step in and do that discipline role. But I guess those are the top things that I can see. And comment if you feel if I'm missing anything um, about about single dads. I mean, why men are reluctant to step in the role and to raise other people's kids, or to just be involved in another in the life of a single mom, because and you don't have any kids. Now if you have kids and you have blended family, then that's slightly different. At least you know what it's like to be a parent, and you're not but you're just not the parent of certain children. You can discipline your children different than you can discipline someone else's. So, I guess that's one thing. Now, as far as the single dads that I know, I mean, I I like and some of them have a common denominator. They are focused on their child this day and age. They're highly focused on their kid, that um like the kid, dating is like secondary. The kid is primary. So the kid is first and foremost. I mean, I know a person right now who is a single dad. Well, he co-parents, but his weekends are totally devoted to his child on the weekends. And the weekends are when, I'm free a lot of weekends. So it's like that's my time that I can. So me and him are cool. We're friends. We never like manifested into a relationship or anything like that. But we're like just, buddies or whatever. And, I like the fact that, his daughter is his like little world, his little princess. On the weekends is when he sees her, because he works all really hard throughout the week, which is fine. And I noticed a lot of guys, when they, are obsessed, with their kids, sons and daughter, my kids come first, and, I'm with my kids. I can't do this. I'm with my kids. And that's good. But sometimes I guess it's hard for moms to determine. Sometimes guys you may use that as an excuse too. It's like, and that's horrible, because you should find other things to talk about, or excuses to use. You shouldn't use your child as an excuse to not date. That's not fair. But sometimes, I mean, I've actually had this happen to me before when dating. It's like, okay, said he was with his kid, but wasn't really with his kid. And so I was like, okay, you say you got a son, but you can't have no fun. Like, okay, I mean, you got to make time for what you for dating too. It's important to have a whole balance, a work life parent balance. And it's great that I know personally a few dads who are putting their children first, and their time is reserved for their dad, and that I mean their kids, and that's great. But you gotta find time to have a little bit of a balance, and uh make sure if you're really into somebody. I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. Hell, I can't see somebody taking a Beyonce type of woman and say, "Oh, I'm not going to take time for you." You know, you got a Riri over here. I ain't gonna make time for you. I'm just totally focused on my kid. You're gonna find a way to balance and schedule. But I guess you can tell if somebody's really a single dad is really into a person by the way that they balance and incorporate and include um a mother. I mean, not a mother. I mean, a potential a person to date, a potential, lover or whatever in their life. Now, make sure for those who are just coming in, make sure you press the like button, and make sure you say hello and comment on my live stream. I'm just here talking about single dads, co-parenting, stepdads. I'm just trying to find out what the hardest thing for you guys is about the whole transitioning from, maybe in a relationship, in a marriage, to not having that, to just co-parenting, and how difficult it may be. And I know that when it comes to custody, hello, how are you? Um, When it comes to custody, I can say a lot of states are mom friendly, and the custody situation portion is not the most, I could say, the most fair for single dads. And there's a lot of good single dads out here. Hello. um Appreciate you guys saying hi on the chat. There's a lot of good single dads out here, and let's face it, the world life isn't fair, and it's a lot of, you know, partial more favorable to the mom. So some the dads who are really good dads may get the short end of the stick when they deserve it. And sometimes, they say deadbeat dads. There's deadbeat moms out here. And the, the dads who are good and do stuff, which, there's more than are noted for, they get the short end of the stick, and it's not fair. So if the single dads who any single dads on here who want to join in and talk about, the custody situation and how their experiences, please enlighten me. um I know that I've heard, I have friends, I have family who've gone through it, and it's not the most easiest thing to do. It's not a good time. I guess, in a lot in one sense, the single dads that I know are like single moms. It's like you want to stay, you want to stick around to save the not the relationship, but just 'cause you don't want to lose your kid, like see your kid less. You go from having a two-parent household for people who live together to having, seeing your kid like once a week or every other weekend. It's very sad. It's very not natural, I guess you could say. It's heartbreaking for, I guess, some dads might not like that. That might be an issue why people stay around. But then again, if you're arguing and you can't get along with the person that you're dating, then is it beneficial? Like, or is it better to make a child feel loved in two different households? I don't know. um I think it's better to like have a child loved in two different households, because at least they know, at least the child won't feel the tension and the stress or the anger that the parents need to get over, or will get over at some point, but are suffering from at that present moment. So any stepdads on here want to talk about the joy of being, I know I talked about the reason that can hold back single dads from being in another uh and then stepping up to that role as a dad in place of a dad, or the man who's in the household, but want to talk about the joy it is to be a stepfather and the rewards. Because I think some guys need encouragement because they might not know, and maybe this can take away the fear of 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 being in that position. There's a lot of children out here who need fathers, and maybe it's not their biological, maybe somebody else, stepdad, can love them better and do more for them. I don't know. Anybody want to jump in on the okay, well, I mean, I just know that I like to see, and I shows a certain kind of compassion and a love when you are not necessarily the biological parent of someone, but you show that child that much love. You take them in because that's what the child will remember at the end of the day. The child remember that you showed them the love that they needed. They may not have gotten from someone their own, and that it's rewarding. It should be rewarding to you and to that child when they grow older. They'll understand that, wow, this person was there for me. This person, this dad in my life was there, even though the one who I um biologically call father was absent. At least I had someone who showed me love and showed me that I am special, I am loved. So I think, love from one parent or acting as a parent dad is better than nothing. So I commend those fathers who are able to step in that role, or that those stepdads who are able to step in that role, because I know it's not easy. Um, it might have its challenges, and sometimes it depends on what kind of kid you get. You might get, a little angel, then you might get the bad seed. So, you just never know. But I know co-parenting from a mother's standpoint is not easy in the household. It is not easy when you're trying to co-parent initially, especially if you're at odds with the father. It's not easy. And I can imagine that from dads, it's not easy either to try to co-parent in in a household. But I feel like, to me, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like dads may have a little bit more of an advantage, only because uh the mom is usually, I don't want to sound stereotypical, so don't come down my throat, but usually the primary parent who's always there. They have limited time. This is what I was talking about in my single moms video. They have limited time to talk, to date. So it's very hard to date, while dads can do that. Like, when, it's more like the moms have the brunt of the work. I feel like, again, don't come at my neck, but you're the more authoritative. It's more work. It's more like, if you go to Weekend at Daddy's, it's like, oh, that's the vacation away from mom. It's like daddy is the fun time. The mom is stuck with the ability, with the luxury of being the disciplinarian, the the bad guy. It's like, you have to be the person who enforces the homework, the person who has the strict rules, while, I'm go for dad to the weekend. And some people say, which I don't, you know, agree with wholeheartedly, because I know some dads who are not like this, but like, it's more like of a fun time than more so structure. But to each his own. I mean, it just kind of depends. I know more good single dads than I do deadbeats. I mean, actually, I don't think I know any deadbeats in my in my circle, because I don't roll like that. I don't, it's like, because I'm be the first one to be questioning, like, why are you not doing for your kid? What's up with you? Like, why are you leaving your kid hanging? Why are you even talking to me, or have time to talk on the phone? You need to be tending to your kid. But no, the whole what does it say here? Being a stepdad is tough, even in the best situations. And I can imagine, I was assuming being a stepmom isn't much easier. You're not the mom, and you're trying to fill the role of a mom. And sometimes moms probably have things that they say to their kids. Who's a daddy, asking the kid questions, who's at daddy's house, who be taking care of you, what does daddy date, and daddy bring a girl over, and everything like that. And then the child may say something to the person who's the stepmom, and it might not go so well. I mean, she might get her feelings hurt, and talk, like, just, it's an uncomfortable situation on both ends. I think both are being hard. Do you guys feel like being a stepdad is harder than being a stepmom? I mean, I don't know. Or filling the role, or is having a stepdad in the house when the father's not there, is that hard? Is it, is it fair for, if a child's father is not doing or stepping up to the plate of the actual of what they're supposed to be doing, but a stepdad is? Does that make the onus to be upon the new dad, or the stepdad that's in the household, or is the onus still upon the actual biological father? What if the stepdad is better than does a better job than the biological father? What's fair? Because people need to know this. I want somebody to look back on this live stream and actually learn something. Like, let me see. It says the hardest part of being the step parent is getting the child to trust you. Ooh. And as anything, I guess trust comes with time. Um, and you have to build trust. Trust is hard for adults. So for kids, I could imagine it's even worse. Or even harder. because it's like, especially if somebody was already there, then they'll be like, you're this big new person coming in, being around my mother, you know, you know, where my daddy's not here, but you're here now. It's like, okay, it's a world of confusion. So, I mean, I can imagine. Anybody care to elaborate? I keep seeing it's tough being a stepdad and it's hard. What is it hard? What makes it hard? Like, what is the hardest part? Okay, the trust, I get it. Like, what part of the trust is it? Allowing the child to let you take the child places, or um just making sure, letting the child know that they're safe and protected. uh do you think the child fears that you'll leave them just like the dad may have? Like, I want to know, like, what's the hardest part about being a stepdad, or just being a single dad, period. I know what I don't like, what I have heard, and I'm going to keep it real, because what I don't like is when I hear stories about dads. Now, I'm not talking about stepdads right now, I'm just talking about actual dads. What I don't like is hearing stories about how, you fight tooth and nail in custody, say for instance the father wins the custody battle. And the father wants the fight to not pay child support, and then on top of that, they drop them off at the at the auntie's house, their sister's house, their grandma's house, or whatever. And while they go and do whatever, either party, work, date, or whatever. It's like, okay, that to me, I feel like is an unfair thing. And I unfortunately have heard of those situations. So I just want to say to those, in a kind way, that if you are doing that, if you challenging the mom on custody, and you challenge them just so you can save a couple coins, not because you want to actually be there in the child's life where you're full-fledged um in the child's life, then I want to say I'm gonna need y'all to have several seats. Um I'm gonna need y'all to have several seats, because I don't think that's fair. I think that if you challenge it in court, and that's no big, and that's in some degree you have to be lying a little bit, because you're fighting for your custodial time, not for the custodial time for your auntie or your sister, your grandma, or your neighbor to watch the child, but for you to be there. It's like, imagine if, I mean, I'm sure there's some single moms who do this too. They fight or whatever, they get the primary custody, and then they drop them off here and there so they can go date and stuff like that. But anybody in either situation, if you're fighting in custody, you win, and you're dropping your child off and you're not spending that time with them, you're wrong, because that child needs you. And in court, you wasn't saying, I'm fighting for more time for me, my sister, and my cousin and my grandma to watch my child. You're not splitting it between like six people. You're splitting it between the mom and the dad, and they need you. And I have heard of situations where people have done that, and I don't personally think it's right. And I mean, I understand, and it's not that they don't love their child, but it's just for other reasons. Like, maybe it's to save a couple coins, or maybe it's to just not to be spite the mom, to not have the mom as much in the life. I don't know, but I just say I don't personally think, that's fair, because it's not being fair to the child, it's not being fair to the court, and it's not being fair to the other parent who actually is available. It's like you would be taking a child away, having that time where a mom could pick up, a mom could pick up from school, a mom could do more for or spend that time with, so you could just have them on that time and you not even utilize it. It's like, I don't know. It's not necessarily, I think it's not necessarily fair. And I've had issues like that in my of my relationship early on, not to the extent that's the reason why, because my child's father loves my child. But, there were some incidents, earlier on, like, he'd have to work on the weekends. I'm like, "Hey, hello, I'm here. I can take him. You don't have to give him to your mom or whatever. I can watch my kid. That's my kid. I should have priority and first choice on doing so." So that's not cool. Let me see. I have another comment. It's important for stepdads to have communication with the biological dad and that they have respect for one another. It makes it easier for both households to be on the same page. That part. I love it. Yes, it does. And also it's good that the child doesn't see that the two dads are at odds. You want them to see cohesiveness in a relationship so the child doesn't feel tense, doesn't feel blamed, doesn't feel like things are their fault. I feel like having that structure in that relationship where you have an open dialogue between the two and despite the feelings personal is good, and unfortunately, in a perfect world, most people are not stepdads and actual dads are not, you know, like like this. They not bros, like that. But it's nice to at least have an open communication, or like what if it comes time with pickups or something, or drop offs. It's nice to have that cohesiveness, but yeah, mutual respect. I mean, respect goes a long way. I mean, of course, everything's not what's that Lisa Ray show? Was it on one? I can't remember, but it was mimicking Will Smith's situation with the co-parenting. Now that's it. That's like unicorn situation. Not everybody is like, of course, Will and Jada Pinkett Smith and how they, have a good relationship and co-parenting and all that stuff. It would be nice in a perfect world, but fortunately it's not. But I'd like to say for the good single, there is some good single dads out here, um and the with good single dads, the moms need to stop bashing on social media platforms to make themselves feel better, because I've seen that firsthand, and I don't particularly like it. um I don't like it at all, actually. I know personally somebody in my family who's a really, really good dad, cooks and everything, wants to show the child the world, has more to offer, is actively involved. Dating is like secondary compared to his child. And he really goes above and beyond at a very young age. And it's quite rare, another like kind of unicorn. Um, and they don't get, they hi, I see you. And they, kind of get put down, I guess. I don't know, and I want to say it by the mother, and it's like, is it a little form of jealousy? It's like, maybe maybe a dad who can out parent the mom. Is that a thing where it's like, wow, I can't beat you, so I'm gonna trash you. 'Cause I know you can parent better than me. And usually get all the hype. The women get all the credit, but the women are the ones who typically are the best parents. But in this particular case, that's a stereotype, but I'm not saying that. It depends on each household. This one is a single dad. He's killing it, giving his child the world. And very young, it's like all you see is like daddy and me on their, Instagrams and everything. And I'm like, wow, needs more of this on there. But the mother continues to bash or finds a dislike or reasons to not like, that father. And he's a great dad. And it's like, I'm like, there's deadbeat dads out here, but he's not one of them. And it's like, for the single moms out here who are bashing the father of the child, stop doing that. Because if you have a good one, it's called maturity. And just gotta eventually try to find some way to work together instead of working against, especially because it's hard out here. Let me tell you, there's hard out here to find a good person who wants to step up to the plate and be a father, you know, and a good one at that. And you got to give credit where credit's due and recognize um good people and that are good people and who want to be good parents. Because this day and age, mental health is down the drain, and you want somebody sane, who's full, who's present mentally, physically, and emotionally for a child, and that's the best thing ever. So if you have that in your life, ladies, who are you know, give credit where credit's due. You know, my child's father is a good dad. You know, he loves my child to death. Like, I was obsessed with him. I'm like, oh my goodness. But you know, and I appreciate that and I recognize that. I can recognize that now. There's a place in time where, you know, I was a little bitter. I couldn't recognize it. But I do recognize it. Well, that's because I didn't want to be quite honest. But I recognize it now. And aside from my own personal issues, you know, good dad is a good dad, you know. So I feel like, you know, when you see people, good dads being good parents, that should be recognized. That should what should be posted on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and you know things like that because you know dads sometimes they get a bad rap. You know they get this the short end of the stick, and I don't feel like that is fair. Communication, like someone said in the chat, it needs to be strengthened. It's hard. It, like it's hard for moms to communicate even worse. You know, from a single mom to communicate with a new girlfriend, you know, that's trouble. So that's really hard to do. So if those who can, that's great. But if you know, most of the time it's highly unlikely. It's more of um you know, if anything, I guess it would be the dads who are okay or copacetic as long as, you know, it's no real issue, you know, like no jealousy involved. It's like you got to take the jealousy and the personal part out of it, you know. Um and I guess another thing with single dads uh is bad is having to take the backlash of being around the child and the child's mother is trashing them or making or putting words or poison in their ear that's making them not like them and able to build a relationship with that child. So, you know, dealing with trash talk from one parent because of the way they feel about another parent makes it hard for them to parent the child. And it's like, you know, it's like you complain, you can't have both ends of the stick. You can't complain about the child's father not being there or not doing enough, but when the child's father gets them, it's like, oh wow, the mom said all these things and how negative they are, and you know, they didn't do this and they didn't do that, but yet you want them in the life, but yet you're gonna talk bad. It's like you gotta pick and choose your battles. And make sure for those who are just coming in, please make sure you press that like button. Please. I love likes. I need to get my likes up. Thank you. Let's see. It says, let's hopefully this can help. I thank you. I hope this can help someone. Peace to you too. Yeah, I hope this can help someone. I mean, I'm just trying to shed a little light on them, you know, like there's good dads out here and they need to be recognized. Uh and there's good stepdads out here. There's good acting as if dads, even if you're not married, someone who is present and active in a child's life. And, you know, that child, regardless of what you may think, you don't know the impact and how much that child will appreciate you later on in life. Um, it is so special. You might not understand it fully now because you don't see the benefits right away. It's like you plant little seeds, but when those flowers bloom later on, when that child becomes like a doctor, the president of the United States, it's like, wow, I'm so glad I invested all this energy into this child because I didn't have to, but I did. And wow, look at the reward it has. I'm telling you, you know, because good karma is real. If you put good karma out there, good karma will come back to you. And if you plant good seeds and do positive things, I believe positive things will come back to you, especially when it comes to children. You know, they're innocent. They ain't asked to be here. They ain't asked for they parents to have that drunken night, that rendezvous, that one night stand. You know, they ain't asked for none of that. So, and I'm gonna say this too, also, like I said, the single moms, hey, um, you know, you like, y'all gotta stop having kids with people that y'all don't know. It's like y'all like you gotta know people nowadays because you get angry with them. You just like lust comes first before you learn. And it's like you gotta learn the person, then the lust, or it all kind of flows. But it's like, that's why so many people end up in the court system. Baby mamas can't stand baby dads can't stand baby mamas, because you didn't know that this person was a hidden drunk. You didn't know that this person, was very flirtatious. Let's just say that. A lady who's pretty flirtatious with a lot of guys. So it's like you got to learn these things. But it's like that you can't get mad at that person. That person was there all along. You just didn't take the time to get to know them. So it is what it is. Let me see. Always use this quote from Look Who's Talking. Being a good dad is keeping the mother happy without driving the kids crazy. Oh, that's so sweet. And hey, they say happy wife, happy life. That's what I heard. Happy, and happy girlfriend, it makes happy boyfriend. It's like, and you also, and ladies, if you're dating a single dad, you are dating the kids too. It's like I say the same thing for single moms. Like, if you're dating a single mom, you're dating me and the child. You're not just dating me. Like, if I'm dating, like, it's a package deal. We come as a package. Kid ain't going nowhere. You'll go somewhere before the kid will. But you have to, it's more acceptance. Um, and that's where I stand with that. You have to be able to not just make um the mother happy. The mother has to make the father has to be happy too. And I mean, some things, a lot of things can be resolved by lowering pride and taking self out of the equation, especially when it comes to co-parenting and custody and things like that. It's like at the end of the day, it is not about you, and kids did not ask to be here. They just were born, and then they just got reluctant to get you as parents. And parents can really drive the kids crazy too. We know co-parenting is like it's one of the hardest things you have to do. But one thing I will address that I do not like, and if you are thinking about doing this, I'm trying to stop you now before you do it. If you are just taking a woman to court because you do not want to pay child support, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Like, is it like you really want to take money out of out of her because you want to save yours? I don't find that fair at all. So please don't do that. Um, you need like to really think, because it takes two. It should not be one's responsibility. When two people, it takes to make a child. That's one thing that I have to say. Now, any man who is a man is going to want to do for their child and be there and be active and present. Like I would say, any woman who is a real woman wants to do and be there for their child and be active in somebody's life, in their life. It's you as a mom, it's your responsibility. It's you as a dad, it's your responsibility. That's what I feel. And I feel like if you and if you decide to date someone who is a single mom, you are dating from the heart, and you are dating knowing that that child is not going anywhere. You can't, and one thing you can't do is want that child or suggest. I can imagine, because I know as a single mom I don't like it, but for suggesting to a single dad that the child needs to spend more time with the mom so that you can be there. No. I would not do that. That child is going to always be there. When it's time for you to be around more or be more active and present, that time will come. But suggesting that to a single father, I think is not okay. Like, oh, can a child go with his mom so we can go out? It's like you're kind of taking away from the time with the child that the child needs with their father. And uh some people, I think I've seen one case where that has happened, and they were so lusted by this woman that they allowed for that to happen, and spent less time with their child, which wasn't cool. Nothing should be able to take you away from a kid. No one, especially someone new. That child should always want to be, you know, first, and I mean, you should always want that child to be first and foremost. A little passion, a little lust, is not worth it. It's steps. Nobody People aren't taking their time these days, I would say, to date and to think things through. I'm not gonna say one is harder than the other. Um, but I know that I was looking at something on YouTube, right? And they said that the thing about being a single dad is that even if you're dating, I mean, if you're raising your child, you still have to date. And what does the guy do? They primarily take women on dates. They pay for everything, and then you have to pay for children too. It's like more of a financial, maybe a little bit more than women. You have to pay for maybe child support, or if you're not doing child support, and you're a full-time dad, and you're just raising a child, but you're paying for that, and then you're paying for dates and all type of other things, trying to get out there. So is it fair to say that it's easier for men to date as single dads, or is it fair to easierly I mean more easierly? Woo, what? uh, I just made that one up. Is it more easier for single dads to date, or is it more easier for single moms to date? What do you guys think? Do you think it's more easier? Um do you think that, the time, because I know me personally, the time that I have is limited, for dating. I mean, I, like anyone else, makes time for whatever I want to make time for, but dating, um, it's not as easy as it is for me as it was for his father. His father had plenty of time to date. Me, however, it's like I get in where I fit in, and that's what it is. It says all kids need to be taken care of. So I wouldn't encourage any parent to fight the kid's mother, father in court over child support payments. Yeah, you shouldn't, but it happens. And it's like it would be nice if you can come to an amicable, mutual agreement to figure something out, but rational, like, typically people are doing things out of anger because what? They didn't get to know the person well enough, or they found out that they really don't like things, because having kids is, ooh, that can change things. That can change marriages. That can change everything. The impact kids can have, and it's not necessarily the kids, just like it's more things to deal with, and more pressures, more finances, more outside influences that affect the dynamic of the relationships that you have with the two parents when kids are involved. But I mean, kids are a beautiful thing. Kids are a beautiful thing, and I feel like those who are being stepdads, keep on doing what you're doing. It takes a certain kind of compassionate, empathetic, and loving person to do that. And those who are not being the dad that they need to be in the child's life, y'all need to step up to the plate, because it's like there's there's so much. You don't want to be in a song or end up in a rap song, or you don't want to end up on social media on a post talk about you know my dad ain't this, or my dad ain't that, or whatever. You never know what the child's going to be when they grow up. You just got People don't think. But to those, I tip my hat to you. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job, by the way. All those dads out here who are doing the right thing, doing the best that they can do. And I feel like whatever the parent is not doing or is doing in their life, the other parent, just keep doing what you're doing. Don't even worry about them. As long as you're doing what you're doing from the heart, as long as you're doing what you're doing because you feel like that's what the child needs, and you're helping the mother out, you're making yourself happy, the child happy, then it should be happy in your heart. It's a win-win for all three, or however many kids it is. Two, the stepdad, or the um, new person in the life, and two, three kids or whatever, one kid or whatever. I encourage that. Somebody needs to hear that you are doing awesome, and the reward might not be right away, but the reward, you will get it. It will come. And on that note, I guess I will end this live. You guys have been excellent. Make sure you tune in for my other live streams. Leave some comments below, share with a friend. Make sure you subscribe to the dance party. And I'll catch you on the next live stream. Bye.